Hello and good evening to you. Time check is 18:30 GMT. Welcome and thanks for joining us here on Key Point from our news hub here at Desawa here in Akanda, Accra. My name is Alfred Okanse. Top on the bulletin tonight, President John Dramani Mahama assures implementation of National Anti-Corruption Action Plan is on track. Also coming up was the president's security breach. It's a question we are asking after he delivered his State of the Nation address. As a matter of fact, the final State of the Nation address. We're going to be exploring the issues tonight. For those of you who'd make time to watch that woman who beseeched the president literally, we'll bring him back to you those concerns. Remember, this program is streaming live on 3news.com and also on DSTV channel 279. We have some news coming in as well with respect to the leadership of Parliament and who the next Speaker of Parliament might possibly be here on Key Point. Stay with us. All right, so welcome to Key Point. Now, we all know today President John Dramani Mahama delivered his last State of the Nation address as demanded by Article 67 of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. And just after that delivery, very brief, he says that it's a snapshot of it. On leaving the Parliament House, a woman approached the president, grabbed his hand for his attention and pulled him from entering his official vehicle for a takeoff. It took the intervention of the president's military aide-de-camp, ADC Commander Abdul, to separate the woman from the president. This has created some concern, and the question that we are asking this evening is whether the president's security was breached. That is the question on the minds of many. I would want you to just take a look at exactly what happened today on the front of Parliament. Presenting the State of Nation address, and he is receiving a lot of congratulatory messages and exchanging pleasantries with some of the persons who were there to hear him present his last State of the Nation address. Yes, hugging one of, I'm sure, the sympathizers of the NDC, who seems to be saying some words of encouragement to him. Yes, holding him, and at the moment the security is having a tough time. As you see on your screens, this woman's not allowing the president to enter the vehicle. All right, so that's the question on the minds of men, and you did see it for yourself. That woman there literally obstructing the movement of the point kind of expression that he put up there. Adib Sani is a security expert, and he's joined me in studio to help us understand the implications of something like this. Especially, Adib, good evening to you. It's great to have you. Happy New Year to you. It's the first time I'm seeing you in the year 2017. Looking at what you saw there, and to the extent that the president's aide-de-camp was right there, his security detail was right there as well, the military assistant was there, and this happened. What does it tell you in terms of the security of the president at that moment?
Well, I can't say the president's security hasn't been breached, because I have read about lots of security that is provided to various presidents all across the world, and there's the protocol that is usually followed. When the president moves, he moves in what we call in security circles as a security bubble. And the security bubble is basically a network of communication gadgets, persons, and of course vehicles that come together to make sure that the president is protected. And part of the bubble is what we call security perimeters. And in security circles, we have three major security perimeters that should evolve around the president. And this is practiced not just in Africa, but all over the world. Okay. The first perimeter is the outer one, which is usually made up of police personnel, and of course, in some cases, like we have in Ghana, military men. Then the second, which is the inner, is made up usually of national security operatives, who in some cases even mingle with the people so as to feel part of them. If he's visiting a tourist site, I mean, you have security personnel even behaving like tourists and taking pictures. Then we have the very last, which is the president's personal security detail. So before you're able to breach the president's security, you should be able to breach all these three perimeters. And when that is done, you have every reason to be worried.
Absolutely. And with what you're seeing on your screens right now, how close the lady got, hugged the president first. There was one lady who did that first and eventually wanted to still stay on, held the president's hand, was literally obstructing the president's movement, as you see on your screens. It had to take the president to pull his hand off while the security detail was still standing there looking at the woman. And that's where the concern is.
Well, yes, it is very disturbing considering the fact that this is not even the first time such what breaches happen. I mean, we remember clearly the case of the gentleman who went to the president's church. He was able to get into the church building with a pistol.
But the question, how could she get so close to the president?
That is,
if the detail was there.
That is the point. That is the point. Because it was only through his behavior they were able to detect that indeed this guy had something fishy about him. Secondly, we had just in November prior to the election, 130-year-old David Asante, who behaved like he was part of the presidential security detail at Adenta, who was arrested in the process. You see, the fact is we are tempted to believe because there's no major insurgency in Ghana or because we have never really gone through any terrorism, we don't take it serious.
But you know, the question also is, this is not the first time there's something like this happening with people getting so close to the president. And the question has also been whether the president sometimes does allow these things and then doesn't allow his security to obstruct such movement. Let's go to Bole. If you recall, on the 25th of December last year, he went there to celebrate the Christmas, as always been the case when he was president. And this is exactly what happened. People besieged him, gotten so close to him, and touching him as well. Let's take a look. So that is a milling crowd with the president in there. And I don't see his security detail anywhere close to him. And these are people, you cannot detect who is holding what and who can harm the president at that point. In the middle, caught up in such a crowd. Would you say that he silently endorses some of these things?
No, you see, usually before the president moves, there's a security protocol that has to be followed. I mean, they agree, the security team agrees on the route to take. Even in some cases, especially if the president is going out of the capital city, we even have some people taking the lead, security personnel going to mingle with the people, gather information. A whole lot is done, and sometimes it appears very complex and quite convoluted, but that is the protocol to follow. But during their training, their thoughts, the way to go or the way to go about things when unscheduled stops are made, you know, because in some cases you would have the president agree with, I mean, the security team agree and with the president's protocol team on the route to be taken. In some cases, you might have the president wanting to make a stopover to say hello to some teaming supporters.
Absolutely.
But then, there are always security protocols to follow in that regard. But like I indicated, I mean, this is quite disturbing. And there are certain things that cannot be said on TV because there are so many ways you can hurt the president, especially from what we saw in Bole.
And clearly, with the Bole situation where he was literally covered by this milling crowd of people who besieged him to welcome him unsuspectingly, would you say that the security let off their guard because, well, they are supporters and sympathizers of the NDC, they are welcoming their son to the hometown after losing an election, so they would rather have him, you know, mingle with them?
Well, history tells us that even with the assassination attempts, of course, of Ronald Reagan in the United States, bad guys always find it comfortable mixing with the good guys anytime they want to harm the president.
So what you see on your screens is the bullet situation there. The president is caught in the middle of that crowd. The security detail was nowhere to be found.
It's quite unfortunate because, I mean, the place could have been cordoned off because, you know, there are Demon supporters who would want to have a feel of the president. And they should have created that perimeter that would prevent people from, I mean, mobbing the president in this manner. Come to think of it, a similar thing happened when he was going to register, vote in his hometown during the election. And that's quite worrying. I think it's important that the security protocol of the president, of course, the president-elects, they are well trained to prevent situations of this nature happening. Because, I mean, it sends the wrong signals. Come to think of it, protecting the president is protecting our democracy, is protecting our sovereignty, is protecting us all as a people, and we are all obliged to be quite worried about that.
That's exactly why we put some prominence on this. But Adib, thank you for this, and we hope that that will not happen again going forward. But this is key point. I'm going to go for this quick break. When I come back, we'll shift focus on the president's plea for the RTI to be passed before the 6th Parliament of the Fourth Republic's life ends in the next less than 48 hours. We're back.